Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rick, and today I'm going to give you a tour of the backyard, and I'm actually going to go into the greenhouse because there's some Hoyas that are in there and they're entangled, and I can't really pull them out to show you in a more open space. So it's going to be a little crowded in there because I have a lot of stuff, but I want to show you a little bit what's going on also inside that greenhouse. Well, let me start out here. There's a few things that are happening. The orchids are really doing well out here. It rained last week, but yeah, they're doing really good. So I don't have to do much care when it rains. They basically just pick up some of the humidity in the air, and then they take care of themselves pretty much all summer long. If I remember to, I do fertilize the orchids and the Hoyas, but most of the time I do not. Let me show you. This Hoya here is a Hoya, I believe it is a Hoya obscura. It was sold to me as a Hoya sunrise, but after looking at the original publication that's available, uh, it doesn't look anything like the original publication. So I'm just going to label this Hoya Hoya obscura. It's a really beautiful Hoya. It sun stresses, and it blooms a lot. So it's quite a charmer. And it's a fast grower, as you can see. It's kind of like taking over this wall here. And yeah, obscuras have a tendency to have a lot of sun stress. And the one that was originally published as Sunrise has smaller leaves and doesn't stress as much. But it's quite a beautiful Hoya as well. But I believe this one is Hoya obscura, one of the clones. There's quite a few. There's quite a few out there. Hoya obscura. So yeah, as you can see, this is a good size leaf, I would say about 3 inches. And the sun stressing on this obscura is pretty gorgeous. So let me just show you some of the things that are happening on this table here. This is a dark lord, philodendron dark lord. The new leaves come in kind of reddish brown, which is quite beautiful. The back is a nice maroon color, and it stays that way even when the leaves mature. So it's quite beautiful. And then this orchid here, this Cattleya, it's a volcano jewel, a volcano queen. It's quite gorgeous, and I'm so glad that I'm reblooming it, and it has 7 buds on it. So I'm excited about that. And this one is I picked up at Smith. It's also a Cattleya. I do have the tag on it. It smells heavenly. And this is called Cattleya tigrina var leopoldii. And it's quite beautiful and fragrant and very showy with these dark spots against that like almost a brown background and that really, really hot pink lip. Put the tag back on there so I don't lose it. And here's the occultata constantly blooming. You can't get this guy to stop when it gets going. It blooms basically all summer. And my ring of fire is still doing really well. So that's really a pretty one. And my Hoya amicabilis is doing its thing again. This is like the 4th time it's bloomed for me. They have cute little bell-shaped flowers. See if I can put it down so you can see it better. And they're really, really cute. I still can't detect the fragrance on it, but it keeps blooming on the same peduncle all the time. So I'm pretty happy with this little guy. I have it out here sitting on the table. It's growing in pond, and yeah, doing pretty well. It's blooming all the time. That's all you want. Let's see, over here we got a Hoya australiensis. And one of the things about this Hoya, the flowers aren't really that showy, but they're green, so that's really cool. But the fragrance is really, really amazing. It smells like a nice, like a lemony scent. It's very fresh and it's quite a nice, pleasant smell. So, Hoya australiensis, and the foliage is quite beautiful. It gets like these splotches of green color. I don't know if you can see it on here. The sun's kind of hitting, but one of the characteristics of this Hoya is the splotchy, dark green patches on its leaves. That's not the best example, but probably here you can see it. And it does get a little splashy too. The next Hoya I have for you is Hoya bonii. It's spelled B-O-N-I-I. Not to be confused with Hoya bonii. I think there's a hybrid out there spelled Hoya bonii. But this guy is, you would say it looks like a carnosa flower, but at closer look you can see the flowers are a little more cup-shaped, and the coronas are a little pointier. It's quite unusual, actually, if you look at this flower up close. So this is Hoya bonii, B-O-N-I-I, and it's from Vietnam. And when these leaves are first developing, they're like really brown, reddish brown, and they're really pretty. So this is a very pretty Hoya. So that's a Hoya I got about 2 years ago from A.H. Hoyas. And back here in the garden, there's a few things I want to show you guys. And the area back here is still full of blooming phalaenopsis, and they've been blooming for about 3 months, which is really nice. And my Jose Bueno, I'm really beginning to train him to climb up this tree. As when these phalaenopsis are blooming, I'll take them all out and train this Jose Bueno up that palm tree. Back here I have some begonias. I have, this is a Pendorata from Vietnam. And this bulbophyllum phyllum here that I lost tag, as you can see, is, so I can focus on him. His jaws kind of move. Which is kind of freaky sometimes, but I do not know what it's called. If anyone knows, please comment below. But it's doing pretty well here. It has another one forming, another flower bud. So what else do I have here? Some begonias, and this RLC Memoria, Irene Fail. She's really fragrant, and the color is really stunning. And I have this Burl Marks here, doing well, and this Glorious, which is a cross of Philodendron gloriosum, and I forget who the other parent is. But they're all doing well. They are enjoying the increased levels of humidity. And up this palm tree, I have a Adansonii heading towards the canopy of this palm. And let's see what else over here I want to show you is this really nice Hoya phylora. The leaves are thin, but it's a really fast grower. And as you can see, it's growing up towards the top of that tree, so hopefully I will get blooms on that one. And down here I have this Diversifolia elniticus. As you can see, these leaves get quite splashy and big. They're like, I would say, about 8 inches long. A lot bigger than your average other Diversifolias. And over here I have the Nonuch. She's doing well here. You see, she's getting all entangled up in the tree there, so I'll leave her alone. Some of the Phalaenopsis. And over here you'll notice that I moved my Patriciae, Philodendron Patriciae, over here. I think it was getting too much sun where I had it on underneath the gazebo. So I have a nice begonia over there, Silver Dollar. And over here is a Polynura Brugette. It's really splashy, putting out a lot of new growth. A Brugette Polynura. It's actually really splashy. The new leaves don't appear to be, but if you look at the old growth, you can see it's almost covered in splash. So there's quite a bit going on in the backyard. Constantly changing things, and moving a lot of plants up to the big greenhouse. So let me go into the small greenhouse and show you around there. Well, but before I do that, let me show you this. I think this is the one they call pink silver. It's a pupa calyx. Let me see if I can get a better close-up there. It's really gorgeous umbels that have a kind of like a silver gleam to them. It's really pretty, and it's really doing its thing. It's bloomed like a few times, and it's a pretty good sized plant. I think it's in like a 10-inch basket there. So yeah, let's go and see what's going on in the small greenhouse. So in here, you're going to be seeing this open up last night. This is the Hoya onochoides. You can see these flowers are pretty big, and only one flower opened, and the other 3 buds are still unopened. So I kind of like that, so that you can really compare how small the bud is, and when it opens up, how big the flower can be. So this flower is definitely over 1 inch across, and this umbel probably is going to be over 3-4 inches across when it opens up. So quite a showy Hoya. It's one of the larger flowering Hoyas, like McGilvery and Archibaldiana and Imperialis. They kind of have similar size flowers. It's a relatively easy Hoya to grow. Blooming it is a little more challenging. I don't think I bloom this Hoya often enough, but when I do, it's really quite a show, and I really love it. So over here, I want to show you a few things. So these are little plants I'm playing with down here. There's some rare stuff, like this Commingiana variegated. It's doing pretty well here. And then I have another bloom over here that's quite interesting. I always love seeing. This is Hoya ruthii, and you can see it's really delicate. It looks more delicate than it is. You can touch the flowers, and look, those coronas are super special. They're really long compared to a lot of other Hoyas. And yeah, I haven't had a problem blooming this Hoya. This Hoya is probably a year and a half old, and this is the 3rd time I'm blooming it. So it's kind of nice to see. So a lot of the Hoyas in here are either too small, or I'm working on growing them out, IDing. And when they do that, when I get a nice potted plant, I bring it up to my other big greenhouse for it to grow there. This is a Hoya species Borneo SR 2023. It's a Ceresus somidae find. That's her accession numbers. So yeah, here I'm able to focus on these leaves of the species Borneo SR 2023. These leaves are about a 1/4 inch across, and maybe a little bit over 1/2 inch across. But like I said, I got this Hoya about a month ago, and it's already putting out quite a bit of new growth. So I'm excited about that. Another one I want to show you is one of my hybrids I call Longing Hearts. And the flowers are a little bit different, if I can focus on that. It's a Carrii excavata cross. And they're a little more like a softer pink. So here's the leaf of a Longing Heart, RHM 8. 03. You can see they're pretty elongated. They kind of fold back on the edges. And the flowers, like I was showing to you earlier, are quite pretty. So yeah, in here I have a lot of stuff that I'm keeping an eye on, like I said before, like this Hoya Pricktae just put out this really giant leaf. Really excited about that. It's growing pretty well in here. It's like always 80% humidity and really hot when the sun's out. So let me show you this variegated pedatum. It's quite a variegated one. It's really beautiful. And this is a queen, crimson queen, Carnosa crimson queen. As you can see, it does have quite a bit of splash on the leaves, and it's really happy growing here in the greenhouse. I really love this Hoya. It's not fussy at all, and it keeps on putting these really nice splashy leaves. So over here, I'm excited to show you guys that my Hoya Natiana, I think that's how you pronounce it, but it looks like it's producing a peduncle right here on that. So that'll be exciting because I haven't seen much pictures online of that bloom. So I'm really looking forward to that. And down here, this is where I do a lot of the propagating for the Hoyas I sell on my Facebook group. If you're interested in joining the group, just go into my description of this video and there's a link to it, and you can ask to join and participate on all the sales and all the craziness that I do in my Facebook group. And this is a Hoya crassipedialata splash. As you can see, it's doing really well and it's really splashy. The Mathilde, everyone kind of likes this Hoya Mathilde growing in here. It has a lot of splashy leaves. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I have growing here. This is my silver dollars. And they're growing up all the way up into the roof of the greenhouse. I think about 2 weeks ago I had one of those big giant grasshoppers eat part of it. And they're really pretty destructive. They're about 3 inches long, and once they get into a plant they can really devour it in about overnight, really. So I have a bunch of stuff growing in here. Let's see what else I can show you guys. This is the another Cerisa. It's SR 207-13. It has really gorgeous, really thick leaves. It's a verticillata type Hoya, and it does get really splashy. And then over here I have an IR Colina, IR 26. She's doing really well here. And let's see. And other stuff in here, I don't even know their names. Sometimes they're noids that I'm trying to ID. But this is a Mapingera that is probably going to bloom here, as you can see this bud. It's had buds before, but it's dropped them, so hopefully I've been keeping an eye on it and make sure there's water in this reservoir so that she doesn't drop the buds. So, but this bud looks like it's going to form, and it has peduncles all the way up this vine going up into the roof of the greenhouse. And let me show you the really pretty Hoya from Vietnam. I call it the wavy leaf Hoya species from Vietnam. You can see the leaves are really wavy. They have a nice sheen to them. It's quite a fast grower. I think these 2 new sets of leaves are probably less than a month old. Over here I have outer variegated Sulasiana. Sulasiana alba marginata, and it's putting out quite a nice new growth with some new sets of leaves. And well, I just got this maybe 3-4 weeks ago, so it's doing really well. Another one that I purchased recently, it's this NAP, Hoya NAP 7 um, from Indonesia, it's called, and it really looks stunning. The leaves have a really nice dark edge. They're pretty splashy. They're a really good size, and I'm really enamored with this one. It kind of reminds me of Hoya Yuna. Let me see if I can show you Yuna. So that's Hoya NAP07. And let me show you Hoya Una next. I don't know if you guys noticed that I did get a new wireless microphone, so my voice should be a little more clearer. And I apologize for previous videos that if the sound quality was pretty bad. So this is Hoya Yuna. It's doing pretty well, but I had a little bit too much sun hit this in the front door of the greenhouse. But the new growth is really, really looking stunning. So it's pretty happy. This guy over here is Hoya IM04. I have no idea what this Hoya flower looks like. I looked online and I couldn't find anything, so eventually, hopefully, I will bloom it and know for sure what that looks like. And over here I have Staniki. I think that's how you pronounce it. The new leaves are super, super fuzzy, and it's I got it as a 2-node plant, and it's put out quite a few new leaves, and I'm really excited of this Hoya. It's doing pretty well. And that's going to be it for today. I just want to show you one more thing, and it's this Rangoon creeper. I really don't know. I can look it up, the scientific name for it, but it's super fragrant. It blooms quite a bit. The flowers change color. As you can see, it's very floriferous right now. And at night, the fragrance is stunning. So yeah, that's about it. Please come back every Sunday. I upload a new video, mostly about Hoyas, but I also do orchids and aroids, and yeah. So please like and subscribe. Come back next Sunday, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.